On September 6, 2018, Elon Musk appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience. 2.5 hours into the podcast, Rogan offered Musk a blunt. Musk hesitated, then took a single puff. The clip went viral within minutes. By the next morning, Tesla's stock had dropped 6%. Within days, the company lost $14 billion in market value. NASA announced a safety review of SpaceX. 2 executives resigned. The Air Force investigated his security clearance. One moment, one decision, broadcast to millions, triggered a cascade that nearly destroyed everything Musk had built. This is the story of how the world's most visible CEO turned a podcast appearance into a $14 billion lesson about personal brand risk. To understand the collapse, you need to understand what Musk represented in September 2018. Tesla wasn't just a car company, it was a movement. Electric vehicles weren't mainstream yet. Tesla had made them desirable, aspirational, revolutionary. By 2018, the Model 3 had become the best-selling electric vehicle in America. Production was ramping. The company was on track to deliver 100,000 vehicles that quarter. Wall Street remained skeptical, but believers saw Musk as a visionary changing transportation, energy, and space exploration simultaneously. He wasn't just a CEO, he was the brand. Tesla's value rose and fell with confidence in Elon Musk personally, and that confidence was already fragile. August 2018, 1 month before the podcast, Musk had sent a tweet that shocked markets. "Am considering taking Tesla private at $420, funding secured." The stock surged 11% before trading was halted. Questions emerged immediately. Was the funding actually secured? Why announce on Twitter? What did 420 mean? Marijuana culture recognizes 420 as a reference to cannabis. Was Musk joking about a $72 billion transaction? The SEC launched an investigation. Short sellers, investors betting Tesla would fail, attacked. Musk fired back on Twitter, calling them criminals and questioning their motives. His behavior grew increasingly erratic. He tweeted insults at analysts, called a cave rescue diver a pedophile, and posted about personal stress and lack of sleep. Board members privately worried. Investors grew nervous. Then came the Joe Rogan Podcast. September 6, 2018. Elon Musk sat down with Joe Rogan for what was supposed to be a casual, wide-ranging conversation. The Joe Rogan Experience was the biggest podcast in the world. Rogan's style was conversational, unscripted, often lasting 3 hours or more. Guests drank whiskey, smoked cigars, talked about everything from comedy to physics to psychedelics. Musk's team approved the appearance. The goal was humanizing the CEO, showing a different side, connecting with younger audiences who loved Rogan's show. For most of the conversation, it worked. Musk discussed AI, flamethrowers, Tesla's future, his vision for Mars. He seemed relaxed, thoughtful, almost vulnerable, discussing the pressures of running multiple companies. 2.5 hours in, Rogan lit a blunt, a mix of tobacco and marijuana, legal in California, where they were recording. Rogan offered it to Musk. "You ever had that?" Musk looked at it. "Yeah, I think I tried it once." Rogan laughed. "Come on, man." Musk paused, then took it. He held it awkwardly, took a small puff, didn't inhale properly, passed it back. The whole exchange lasted maybe 10 seconds. Musk barely smoked. He clearly wasn't experienced. It seemed almost performative, like he was trying to fit in rather than actually getting high. Rogan moved on. The conversation continued. The podcast ended, then the internet exploded. Within minutes, clips of Musk smoking circulated on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube. Headlines wrote themselves. Elon Musk smokes weed on live podcast. Tesla CEO gets high on camera. Musk smokes marijuana during interview. The visuals were striking. One of the world's most powerful CEOs, head of companies with billions in government contracts, casually smoking on the internet's biggest podcast. It didn't matter that marijuana was legal in California. It didn't matter that he barely inhaled. The optics were catastrophic. Markets opened the next morning. Tesla's stock dropped 6% immediately, wiping out approximately $6 billion in market value. But that was just the beginning. September 7th, the morning after the podcast, Tesla's chief accounting officer Dave Morton resigned. He'd been with the company 30 days. His resignation letter cited the level of public attention placed on the company and disagreements with the pace of work. That same day, HR chief Gabby Toledano announced she wouldn't return from leave. 2 senior executives gone within hours of the podcast, investors panicked. If executives were fleeing, what did they know that the public didn't? The stock continued falling. Then NASA made an announcement. The space agency would conduct a comprehensive safety review of SpaceX's workplace culture. Administrator Jim Bridenstine stated publicly, "NASA expects the companies we work with to operate in a professional manner. We will be looking into the use of controlled substances." SpaceX had billions in contracts with NASA. The review could jeopardize everything. The Air Force, which also contracted with SpaceX, launched its own investigation into Musk's security clearance. Defense contractors cannot use illegal drugs and maintain clearance. Even though marijuana was legal in California, it remained illegal federally. The implications were staggering. Investor confidence evaporated. Analysts who'd defended Tesla began questioning Musk's judgment. CNBC's Jim Cramer, normally bullish on Tesla, said on air, "This was a bad idea, really bad." Morgan Stanley downgraded Tesla stock. Short sellers piled on. One analyst told Bloomberg, "This isn't about marijuana, it's about a CEO whose behavior has become unpredictable." The stock kept falling. By September 10th, Tesla had lost over $10 billion in market value. Musk remained silent for days. No apology, no clarification, no acknowledgement. His PR team scrambled. Board members held emergency meetings. Then, September 12th, the SEC filed a lawsuit. The SEC's complaint wasn't about the podcast. It was about the August 7th tweet claiming funding was secured to take Tesla private. The commission alleged securities fraud, stating Musk had made false and misleading statements that moved markets. The lawsuit sought to bar Musk from serving as an officer or director of any public company. Translation, they wanted him removed as Tesla's CEO. Combined with the podcast fallout, NASA's review, and executive resignations, Tesla faced an existential crisis. The company needed Musk. He was the visionary, the public face, the reason investors believed, but his personal behavior was destroying shareholder value. The stock fell another 14% on news of the SEC lawsuit. Total losses from the tweet to the lawsuit, $14 billion in market capitalization gone. September 29, 2018, Musk settled with the SEC. The agreement required him to step down as Tesla's chairman, pay a $20 million fine. Tesla would pay another $20 million, and crucially, all of Musk's tweets about Tesla would require pre-approval from company lawyers. Musk stayed on as CEO, but under restrictions. The settlement prevented a trial that could have ended with Musk's removal entirely. Investors saw it as damage control. The stock stabilized, but remained down significantly. NASA completed its review in February 2019, finding no major issues, but expressing ongoing concerns about leadership. The Air Force maintained Musk's clearance after confirming he hadn't violated federal law, as the marijuana use occurred in a legal jurisdiction and wasn't habitual. But the damage extended beyond financials. The podcast moment became a cultural reference point for executive recklessness. Business schools began teaching it as a case study in personal brand risk. Competitors used it in recruitment. Come work somewhere stable, not where the CEO gets high on podcasts. Media coverage shifted. Outlets that had treated Musk as a visionary began framing him as erratic, unstable, a liability. Saturday Night Live parodied him. The clip of him smoking became a meme, shared millions of times, often out of context. Google Elon Musk, and the image appeared in search results. His personal brand, once associated with innovation and ambition, now included recklessness and poor judgment. Compare this to how other CEOs handled similar situations. When Facebook faced Cambridge Analytica scandal in 2018, Mark Zuckerberg testified before Congress, apologized extensively, and implemented policy changes. The stock recovered. When Tim Cook faced Apple's slowing iPhone sales, he communicated transparently with investors, adjusted strategy, maintained stability. The stock rebounded. When Satya Nadella took over Microsoft, he focused on boring competence, consistent communication, and steady leadership. Microsoft's value tripled. These CEOs understood that their personal behavior directly impacted shareholder value. They managed their public image as carefully as product launches. Musk did the opposite. He treated personal brand as separate from corporate brand. It wasn't. The irony was unavoidable. Musk had spent years building credibility with governments, investors, and customers. SpaceX won NASA contracts by proving reliability. Tesla attracted investment by promising revolutionary technology. Both depended on trust. One podcast appearance undermined years of careful relationship building. The man who sent rockets to space couldn't manage his own image for 3 hours. The entrepreneur who built self-driving cars couldn't navigate a simple media appearance. The CEO who demanded extreme discipline from employees showed none himself. Competitors seized the opportunity. Traditional automakers began marketing stability. GM's ads emphasized their 110-year history and experienced leadership. Ford highlighted their commitment to shareholders and responsible governance. These weren't subtle. They were targeting Tesla's perceived weakness: erratic leadership. Porsche launched the Taycan electric vehicle in 2019 with marketing that emphasized German engineering and mature management. Audi released the e-tron with similar messaging. They didn't need to mention Musk by name. Everyone knew what they meant. The incident also revealed something deeper about celebrity CEOs. Steve Jobs had been mercurial, demanding, difficult, but he never appeared on podcasts smoking anything. Jeff Bezos maintained an almost boring public persona despite billions in wealth. Warren Buffett gave interviews but stayed carefully on message. These leaders understood that being a public company CEO meant living under different rules. Personal behavior wasn't personal. Everything was corporate. Musk rejected this framework. He wanted to be authentic, unfiltered, himself. That authenticity cost $14 billion. By late 2018, Tesla had stabilized. Production continued ramping. The Model 3 became profitable. Deliveries met targets. The company survived despite Musk, not because of him. Board members implemented controls. PR teams screened media appearances more carefully. Twitter pre-approval became mandatory. Essentially, they built a system to protect Tesla from its own CEO. It worked, but it required constant vigilance, and the risk remained. As long as Musk was the public face, one moment, one decision, one unscripted comment could trigger another crisis. So what exactly went wrong? 3 critical mistakes. First, Musk conflated personal brand with corporate brand. Tesla's value depended on investor confidence. That confidence rested partly on Musk's vision, but equally on his ability to execute responsibly. When he smoked on camera, he signaled poor judgment. Investors don't fund poor judgment. Compare this to how Jeff Bezos handled his divorce and tabloid scandal in 2019. He addressed it directly, protected Amazon's reputation, kept personal issues separate from corporate governance. Amazon's stock barely moved. Bezos understood the separation. Musk didn't. Second, he ignored the regulatory environment he operated in. SpaceX held billions in government contracts. Defense contractors face scrutiny. Federal employees can't use federally illegal substances. Musk's behavior triggered reviews that could have cost contracts, clearances, and credibility. NASA and the Air Force didn't care about California law. They cared about federal compliance and professional conduct. Compare this to how defense contractors like Lockheed Martin or Boeing operate. Their executives avoid even the appearance of impropriety. They understand their entire business depends on government trust. Musk treated it casually. It nearly destroyed SpaceX's relationship with its biggest customer. Third, Musk underestimated how media moments compound. The podcast wasn't an isolated incident. It came after the $420 tweet, after calling a diver a pedophile, after public fights with analysts and journalists. Each incident alone might have been forgiven. Together, they created a pattern. Investors began seeing not a genius under stress, but someone whose judgment couldn't be trusted. Compare this to how Satya Nadella rebuilt Microsoft's reputation. He was consistently professional, boringly competent, and relentlessly on message. That consistency restored confidence. Musk's inconsistency destroyed it. Here's what we know today. Tesla survived the podcast crisis. The company is now worth over $600 billion, making Musk the richest person alive. But that success came despite the podcast, not because of it. The $14 billion lost in September 2018 was real. The executive resignations were real. The NASA review was real. The SEC settlement was real. Musk paid $20 million personally and accepted oversight he'd previously rejected. Tesla implemented controls to protect itself from its own CEO, and the clip of him smoking remains one of the most watched moments in podcast history, viewed hundreds of millions of times, a permanent part of his public image. The lesson isn't about marijuana, it's about risk management. When you're a public company CEO, your personal brand is your corporate brand. Every action is scrutinized. Every decision has consequences. Every moment can trigger billions in value destruction. You can be a genius. You can revolutionize industries. You can change the world. But if you ignore the basics of executive responsibility, the market will punish you. Elon Musk took one puff on a podcast. It cost $14 billion, triggered federal investigation, and nearly destroyed everything he'd built. Maybe that's the real lesson. Some risks aren't worth taking, some moments aren't worth having, and some decisions, no matter how small they seem, carry consequences you can't afford.